computer warehouse. I was supposed to be selling things on the phone. Instead, I think I was calling friends a lot and not selling them anything. And so my boss took me aside one day. He said he wanted to have a talk with me, and I assumed it was to reprimand me, but instead he propositioned me. So I slept with him. Merry Christmas. I didn't. I'm kidding. It's a family show, and I apologize for the dark humor. I did not sleep with him. I chose instead to get fired and not given my paycheck, and I got kicked out of where I was living. I would do it again. I didn't think it would last long. I thought I would live in my car for a couple months and I would save up for a deposit on a new apartment, but I was sick and I was having panic attacks. I had bad kidneys. I actually almost died in the parking lot of an emergency room because they wouldn't see me because I didn't have insurance. They didn't think I was sick enough. And it turns out I had sepsis, which is blood poisoning, which is not good. And I was too sick to drive anywhere else, and so I went out to my car that I was living in, and I just got into the passenger seat and huddled into a ball and was throwing up all over myself. Merry Christmas. When a doctor came and tapped on my window, he had seen me get turned away, and he offered me free antibiotics in his business card, and he saved my life that night, and he treated me for free for many years. So there are great people in the world for every bad. It was then my car got stolen. That sucked. But I wasn't living in it, so that was infinitely less sucky. Silver linings. So that's how I became homeless. It was a vicious cycle, not having a mailing address to put on a job application, being reduced to what being an animal is, just survival, looking for food and shelter, water and safety. It really consumed all of my time and my energy. I barely had time for anything else. It was during this time that, in Alaska, I grew up on this homestead. My family was given during the Homesteading Act. So we were very poor, but we ate well, just because the land took good care of us if we took good care of it. In an urban environment, it is much more difficult, and so I took to helping myself to the produce sections of department stores. Yeah, I'm talking about shoplifting. Merry Christmas. Started with carrots, which apparently are the gateway vegetable. Because pretty soon that led to the hard stuff, like pistachios. It was always food, which I rationalized wrongly, of course, until one day it looked like it would escalate because there was a sundress in a window and I really coveted it. And I went in there and decided to see if I could steal it. And I was in the dressing room and I was trying to shove this dress into these baggy jeans I was wearing, and I saw my image in the mirror and I couldn't escape what I looked like. I didn't look like a proud Alaskan woman the way I was raised to be. I looked like a homeless kid that was having panic attacks and was stealing, and I was going to end up in jail or dead if I didn't do something about it. And I remembered this quote by Buddha that said, happiness doesn't depend on who you are or what you have, it depends on what you think. And so I decided to see if I could turn my life around one thought at a time. To do that, I had to start figuring out what I was thinking, which is actually really hard if you're in an anxietal state. So I started watching my hands, because the hands are the servants of your thought. So if you want to see what you're thinking, watch what you're doing. It'll teach you a lot about your subconscious or about your conscious. And what I learned is that I quit believing in myself. I started thinking it was okay to be a victim, that it was okay to think that somebody else owed me something. And I finally learned a very hard lesson, which is nobody owes me happiness except myself. That is my privilege. Nobody can take it, and nobody can give it to me but myself. So this is that song, Hands.